Mm. It's live, right?
Shalom, shalom. All
Shalom,
right.
shalom.
All praise,
Oh,
glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai,
Shah,
Ba'ashem,
Hashem,
Rakatash,
Rakadash.
Shalom, Wabarakatham. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm here with my name is Ashiyar. I'm here with the elder. And,
Zion.
yep, Elder Tazion, Shalom. The water for coming through for this lesson. And we're going to get right into various topics. We had a couple of ideas for lessons, so we just figured we'd make it at various topics and
Mm.
touch on whatever the Spirit has. So I got this in Job 20, and then we can see where it land backs to. So this is Job 20 and 22. It says, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits.
Right. So, in the fullness, because one thing the Lord like to do is he like to build. He's the master of surprises. He always go with the underdog. See, the more you climb when he destroy you, the more his name gets glorified. The same thing with Pharaoh. He let him climb up to certain heights before he actually wiped them out. That's like a bully. In school, you'll feed them, make them do exercises, and get them big, healthy, and strong before you knock them out in front of the whole playground at recess. Because what the bigger they is, the harder they fall. So spiritually, that's what the Lord is doing to Esau. That's why it says, what in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Now, straits meaning what? Difficulties. Because what? It's only going to be one new world order, and that's the kingdom of Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? So this devil only going to be able to go so far in setting up his new world order, you know, as far as the MOTB, the Charagma, the C hip being put in your hand, it's only going to go but so far to a certain extent, then the Lord's going to come back and shut him down. So that's why he going to be in straits, and that's why he going to be in difficulties. Give me Revelations 2:10. He shall come down with great wrath.
Revelation 2. Oh, yeah, this one. Oh, you thinking of 12 and 12, the great wrath.
Yes, Salakia.
Revelation 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Right. So that's what's going to happen. He's going to come down with great wrath. Because right now, it said he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. And when you go into that word, cause is paeo, meaning to form or to construct. So right now, he constructing, his new world order based off of what? Deception. Because if you go back into history, everybody else who tried the New World Order, they forced it. It was forced upon the people. So right now, Esau is coming, he spoke as a dragon. He's going to force it eventually. It's going to be mandated. But right now, he's gradually moving it in on the people, where he figured it'd be more acceptable. So he gonna come down. What he gonna what? Because Esau rules by two things. He ruled by the sword and he ruled by deception. But see that sword, it only could do but so much. So he switched off the sword and went on to deception. That's the way he was able to deceive the whole planet Earth. He wouldn't have been able to do it straight up by swinging the sword. It eventually would have backfired on him. So this devil, he ruled through deception. But once his weapon of deception is dissolved, his only choice is but to go back to that sword. And that's what Jacob's trouble is about. That's when he found out You know what I mean? He gonna be in straits as we reading, you know, which means actually difficulties.
That's right. And that's a major sign how close we are to the end of this man, of how he is becoming more reckless with the psychological. He has, like you said, the sword, and then he has like the psychological sword, which is the mind, the war for the people's minds. And everything he's doing is like a desperation move at this point.
Right.
Yeah, so you want me to go back to Job 20?
Yeah, kind of. Get devil in that verse in the blue letter
Okay.
to show you that what it's not talking about spiritual demon Satan, and that's why it's important to look up words. You know, because it said the devil shall come down with great wrath, knowing he got a short time. It's actually talking about a physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, which is the Edomites, Esau, who people today call the so-called white man.
Right. The word there is diablos, and it says prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely.
Hey, what the scripture say, he slandereth thy own mother's son.
Mm-hmm.
The accuser of thy brethren is cast down, right? But go ahead, it should be more up there.
It says calumniator, false accuser, slanderer, applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of God, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him.
So there you go. Showing you that what? It's an actual man that's enacting wickedness on the left-hand side, which is who? The elites. Let's go back to Esau, the Edomites. So just to edify that point, the word devil, that's why it pays, to look up words. But yeah, you could go back to that Job.
Yep. So back in Job 20 and 22 again, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him.
Right. And the wicked, in this sense, represents Israel. You know what I mean? Because Jake was considered as being wicked too. The wicked depend on the context of the scripts when you look it up. So what? Our people will, not just Jake, all the other nations will rise up against Esau and his rulership.
Yep.
Even his own race and his own people will rise up against what he's trying to do. Because this devil, like, once you press something too much, you know what I mean? One thing about people don't like change, right? One thing, people are human beings, period, right? We are creatures of habit, right? You start talking change to people, motherfuckers don't like that shit, even if it's like for the better.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like you be like, yo, we was doing shit this way for the last 5 years, but we got this new system, I'm gonna change it up. People don't like that shit. You know what I mean? Now, once they do it for a while and adjust and adapt to it, then it's like, oh, okay, they fill it out. But for the most part, when you check people out, people are people of habit. They like doing certain things one way. They like doing certain things a certain way. And if you change the setup of what they got going on or what they used to, they don't feel it. Because one thing about changing, it makes you uncomfortable. You know what I mean? If you come up out of a certain environment and go into another, even if it's broken down to you as being a better environment, they people don't like feeling it, and you get a lot of rebellion, and that's what's going to happen with this devil. You got the Bible Belt Christians down there in the South. You got the militia groups. Even you got some of these churches that ain't going to be off of that RFID. You know what I'm saying? So this devil gonna be in definitely be in straits, and he gonna be surprised. He got a kind of little dose of what he was doing with the dragon juice, with the Vanessa.
Mm-hmm.
And even though he got the masses of the people to take it, he got a large rebellion too. You know what I'm saying? I think he got like 70-30, 70 to take it, 30% rebellion. I mean, that's what they said in certain states, but it might even be like 60-40, like globally,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which was actually a child run for the Karagma.
That's it. That's it. I got a word here from a word that you mentioned in Job 20 and 22. It says the word for wicked. It says every hand of the wicked shall be upon them. And the word there is imal. And it says laborer, sufferer, wretched one, laborer, workman, sufferer, toiling.
Yeah, and who that's who? That's Jake. We the
Right.
laborers, you know. It goes into the word laborers. And that's ultimately Jake. When you check out, hey, especially Issachar, you know what I mean? We do all the laborers' jobs of this society, you know, from construction, from electrician, plumbing, infrastructure, you know, demolition, you know, cleaning bathrooms and you know what I mean, all that shit, you name it. You know, because Esau, you know, he's too prideful to do something of that caliber, you know.
Yep. I got a quick precept to tie into that. This is James 5 and 4. It said, behold, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your fields. So when we apply it to what we just read, we can put the word wicked there. You know, just
Right.
like you said, the hand of the wicked. So that's really going into the laborers, which, like you edified on, is Israel primarily, and but all of the nations are subject to this man's new world order as well. But it's mostly Jake, you know.
Yeah, that's his main target. Because
Yep.
Jake is the most influential. They know, you know, once you could get Jake to do something, you could get all the others, especially Judah. Judah is a heavy trendsetter, and you could get a lot of the other tribes to follow behind. And once you can get all 12, or predominantly all 12, the other nations are like, you know, bandwagon on them. Because Jake makes shit look cool and acceptable.
Mm-hmm. That's why they're going to use rappers to push that pragma. You know, they're going to use the rappers. They're going to come out with a chip, and they're going to say, "Oh, look, I got a Louis Vuitton one. Oh, my shit is Gucci. Oh, my shit came out. Elon Musk himself did not design my shit in
Right.
collaboration with Dior or some shit, you know, or whoever luxury brand." And then they're gonna be able to have certain abilities left hand on the left hand, certain things they can do on the left hand based off of that to push it to the masses to make it more popular. I think the rapper Lil Uzi Vert, he had said on Twitter that he's going to be one of the first ones to get the Neuralink. So you could already see who's the fall guy. The setup is already, in plain sight.
Yeah, the lesser illuminaries, they definitely will use them to push it because they influencers.
Yep.
You know, that was kind of what they was put in place for. You know what I mean? The deceive Jake with wickedness too, but the ultimate thing they want them to push is to see it, you know, at the round, you know, at the end. But you know, in the meantime, it's like promote the women to be whores. Y'all niggas kill each other, promote drug dealing and all that for the time being. But at the end, I need you to definitely push that see it because it's going to be a lot of controversy, like scared up behind it.
That's it. Back in James 5 and 4, it says, behold, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your fields. And like you had mentioned, Issachar be really working in them fields a lot too, a lot of Northern Kingdom. In general, Jake just being a servant in this kingdom though. I believe they came out and said that Issachar worked in the field so much. Them GMO fields, they got the pesticides everywhere. A lot of them was getting cancer. So they crying out to the Lord, even though they don't know this truth. It's still Israel, at the end of the
Right.
day.
Hey, it says the souls of the just complain continually.
Mhm. Yep. It says, which is of you kept back by fraud. He ain't even paying them the proper wage that they could even survive off of, while simultaneously hyperinflating, all of the currency to where it's not even possible to make a living off of what Jake is getting at minimum wage. It says, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped and entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth.
Right, of many armies.
Yep.
Fine, so
we'll go back to Job 20.
Yeah, you can finish that.
Back in Job 20 and 23, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him.
Right, because what? World War III is going to be going on, you know what I mean, too. So while all these prophecies is lined up happening, Shalakia, I got this like piece of food stuck in my tooth. This shit is annoying. But World War III is going to be going on at the same token, so the Lord is going to interfere this devil's war, and he's going to join a war and and destroy all the armies of the earth at in that time, that them trying to like force that sea hit, because everything is lined up to go down how the Lord wanted in this chronological order. So as soon as he think he's achieving his goal, that's when the Lord is going to come back and interrupt this devil and right in his tracks.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's like a feast is being set up. The New World Order is like a feast for the elites, and they're preparing the table right now. All of the cutlery is set up where it's supposed to be, and it's actually going back to James. It mentions that you have nourished yourself as in the day of slaughter. So they basically like getting ready, like when they slaughter an animal and they're getting ready for that feast, and the slaughter is going to be upon Jake. They want to feast upon our people, pretty much.
That's right.
It says, when he is about to fill his belly, Yahweh Shem Yahushua shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating.
Yeah, so in the midst of him, see, the Lord gonna let him get real close and snatch it back from him. Because one thing the Lord ain't with outside of homosexuality, he's not with no New World Order. The Greeks tried it. All captivities, tried to set up, a New World Order in all these different kingdoms in some shape, form, or fashion. But the Lord shut it down. Even going back to the Tower of Babel in ancient Babylon, that was the first New World Order, because they all came together. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushua, they flooded the earth at the time. So they like, man, shit. Just in case he do this shit again, we gonna build this high ass tower that reach under heaven. Mm-hmm. So with the water, that just show you the mentality of man, though. But it's the same mentality, the Edomites got today, the modern day Babylonians. But all the people of the earth, they like, yo, we all gonna come together and go against the Most High. Because we still gonna be fucking wicked. So if he try to do this shit again, we gonna build this high ass tower where we could dodge the fucking rain next time and shit. Right, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's the mentality of Esau, though, because Esau, what? All the nations, when the Lord fighting, when they fighting in World War III, he's going to interrupt the battle and they all going to come together against him. Just like in the Tower of Babel, even though they didn't come against him like military-wise, they tried to come against the Most High's plans mentally.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the word, strategically.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They like, man, we're going to build this tower. And what the Lord do? He broke, because the earth was of one language, which was the Lashawan Kodash.
Right.
So what he did was he made different dialects and so on and confused the language where you can't like understand. They couldn't understand one another to get on the same playing field and the same agenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't understand somebody's language, how the fuck, what I mean, you going to tell them what to do or what you trying to do? You could still possibly do it, but that shit going to be like pulling teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just to get a sentence out, and that also show you through the spirit that if you want somebody to not adapt a custom or a culture, say you got like a wife from Brazil or some shit, Colombia, one of them South American countries, right? And you bring her back to America. If you don't, if like you got wicked woman here that speaks Spanish, don't get me wrong, but if she don't learn the language of English, it's gonna really be hard for her to adapt and pick up on the wickedness of the culture of Babylon because the language is like the language barrier is there. So
Mm-hmm.
she's not going to be able to know like the Cardi WAP song is not the same vibration spoken in Spanish. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
It sound like a bunch of gibberish to her.
Right. She's not going to be able to know like what's like she can see people twerk and do different things, but it's not going to fully register. But if you put her in a fucking ESL class or some shit like that, and she learned English and she learned the Ebonics and the slang,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to be fully introduced into the culture on the left hand side. So that just show you how bad the Lord is, and that also teach you like language is a heavy barrier until you adapt and learning different people cultures.
Yeah, that reminds me of the time of the Greeks, and that's why a lot of Jakes were looking so down on the Israelites that learned Greek and was into that custom because it wasn't just the language; it was the culture that came with the language that
Right.
was getting them to go off, and they looked at it as like a filthy thing,
Shit.
and
Hey, one major part of culture is language. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
exactly, yep.
Outside of the food, the customs and shit like that. But you can't really like think that I would say that's like in the top two or top three. You can't like fully really think of a culture without mentioning language.
Okay.
That plays like a major part. Then it's really hard to fully introduce the culture if you don't like know the language. So that was heavy when the Lord, split up the Tower of Babel back in the ancient Babylon during the time of Nimrod, and confused the language where they couldn't understand one another.
Yep. And man is so wicked that now they're seeking to overtake that again and form, this is like the Tower of Babel all over again, this whole beast system. So now they got translators, they got Google Translate. Everybody can kind of overpass that barrier that the Lord set up through technology. So now the Lord just gonna have to bring his wrath upon you.
Hey, to back you up, they even got that app today called what Babel.
Yeah.
It teaches it's full of different languages, but it's funny that they call it what Babel. Like you could type and learn French, or any language of the planet. I'm working on my Spanish right now in particular. I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking about getting it, but I'm just gradually self-learning through the YouTube and different things like that for now. But before I actually purchase it. But that they got a few of them, but that one particularly stands out to me because it teach you different languages of the planet,
Mm-hmm.
but different dialects and all that shit. But they actually call it Babel, going back to what the Tower of Babel when he confused the languages. So that just show you like that this devil knows, man. He know
Mm-hmm.
the history and he know like what went down, what happened. Because even today, when you look at certain things, the proof is in the pudding. If you have a spiritual mind to understand and know the history.
Yeah. And it shows you that Nimrod was really in the spirit. Esau is like Nimrod again. And it even says that Nimrod, I believe, was known as the greatest hunter. on the earth at that time.
Yeah, he was a great hunter.
And is not Esau known for that same exact trait? So you see the parallels, you know?
Huh.
Yep.
Uh,
When we continue reading.
yeah.
All right, Job 20 and 24. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
Jump off of that. Give me Job 14 and 5.
God. Job 14 and verse 5. Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee. Thou hast appointed his bounds that he cannot pass.
Yeah, so Esau can't go past a certain, this devil in his mind, he think he's buying time, daylight saving time. He's doing this and doing that, but really, it's all up to the Lord's plan. You know, based upon the elect being sealed, other prophecies got to be fulfilled. These women, 7 women shall take hold of one man, and these different prophecies got to come to pass. Not just come to pass it got to come to pass to a certain extent that the Lord wanted to be in order for him to say it's fulfilled, right? Because, like 10 women could say, 7 just mean completion. Like we looking for a husband. But if the Lord like, nah, I want half of the planet to say it. So, you know what I'm saying? Or he could be like, I only need 20,000 people to say it. Prophecy fulfilled. So all these prophecies got to come to a full extent to its full capacity based upon how Yahweh Shem Yahushua wants him to come to light. But as far as this devil, he thinking he doing what he want to do. He thinking, he got time and this and that. But it's going to come to realization that his time is short. See, we just read, he shall come down with great wrath, knowing he got but a short time. See, right now, Esau, he don't think he got a short time right now. Because if he did, he would have been start fucking shit up.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So that means he's still, because if Esau really knew, like, oh, I'm fucked. See, it ain't really dawned on Esau yet,
right,
as far as like him really coming to the realization, like, oh shit, it's over. You know how you playing that chess game? Because me and the brother play chess.
right.
For y'all that's listening, and it reaches a certain point in the game, and you like, oh shit, I'm fucked.
Right.
like that realization hit you, and you can either, you can still play, but normally what I do, I just push my king down, let somebody else play, especially if it's other brothers want to play. But it's certain jams or certain jam ups you could be in, and it's like, yo, it's gonna be damn near like impossible for me to win this fucking game. Yeah. And that's basically what the Lord gonna have Esau in before he come down with great wrath. That he gonna do, making them stupid ass moves, and he gonna start panicking. He gonna pull a sword out, and the Lord's gonna checkmate.
That's it. And that's like a mental torture in and of itself. Because, we can say like, yeah, I'm my king down, but Esau, he got too much pride for that. So it's just like the mark that was set upon Cain, so that no one would exact vengeance upon him, because he's a bloody man, and his descendants was doing the same thing, just known for being murderers.
Yeah, Tubal Cain.
Tubal Cain, right? And the artificer, and Lamech was known as, that was like the first gangster rap song.
Yeah, God, because he was a musician, and he played with like them swords, so
that's
Esau
right.
just do shit on the left hand,
That's it. But yeah, just him, the Lord really like preserved him all this time, like, so he's lifted up. And that's what happened with the Canaanites. I believe it says in Wisdom of Solomon that it's because of the Canaanites that the flood came. And you know, the sons of God was probably following after that wicked way to where,
Yeah.
we can't even fully
And he
comprehend.
said wickedness exceedingly polluted the earth, like back the known world back then.
Right,
And the Lord was like fed up with shit,
right,
And
exactly.
what westernization and Americanization is like polluting all these lands. Like if you go to these countries like Ghana, like Accra, that's their main capital city. You go to like Medellin, Colombia, you go to Puerto Plata, Dominican Republic, you go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. All of these countries got like capital cities and they all is westernized, So they all like mimic themselves behind like Miami, New York, Las Vegas, like Cartagena, Colombia. If you check it out, that ain't nothing but a smaller, because it's a beachfront.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't nothing but a smaller fucking Miami. You know what I'm saying? Just a decrepit version of Miami, but they building it up to that stigma. So all these countries, that's why they say, like, if you really want to explore a country, you got to go outside of the major cities. Because when you really check it out, ain't the people, the behavior, the snotty nosed women and all that shit, it's probably not as bad because it's still a foreign country. But if you look at it spiritually, you be like, yo, y'all motherfuckers trying to be like fucking Babylon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then once that influence like get there and come there, and hit those major cities, then everybody in those countries, they flock to the major cities for, partying and having fun. That's where you're more likely to meet like Western people from the West, because they fly into those major cities. So everybody come into these major cities and they pick up on what the culture, the slang, and all of that. And before you know it, the whole world is fucking polluted and mimicking behind Babylon.
That's it. And they use Jake. You notice how Afro beats exploded now, right?
The what?
Afro beats, the West African music,
Right.
which exploded, and that's just Esau trying to control it to where now he can make it like a pop thing. Now, oh yeah, we can make it a party, and now you want to go to West Africa to have like that Americanized, westernized, that turn up vibration, and it's just the same folly. It's the same folly that like you were saying everywhere.
Exactly.
You're thinking why now has Afro beats exploded? Obviously, because Jake is so talented, but also Esau is like, okay, I can capitalize off of this. This is hot right now, so now I can capitalize and I can push forth more of my agenda in these other countries. And now, what are you having over there now? I believe the brothers from Ghana, Bukhara, or it might have been Bukhara Aharon had mentioned how they had over in Ghana now on a award show or some show they had like the sodomite alphabet shit going on, and that was like unheard of over there. So
Right.
the defilement has gone abroad, and it's at to the point to now where the Lord is about to bring that judgment.
Yeah, because you gotta think the whole known world at the time was polluted.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? He was sick of it, like that. The masses of the earth, because now the whole earth is like filled compared to like what it used to be.
Right.
So the Lord is just, like there's only but certain amount of wickedness He's gonna like tolerate.
Right. Yep.
Before He like destroy this shit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's close to 7, so I know you had to get ready to peel out, then you gotta drive where you gotta drive.
Mm-hmm.
But we had hit a couple of points and still brought the word out. So that's important. That's the most important part.
That's it.
And so Lord willing, ain't the water for taking time out, brother. Appreciate the link up. Lord willing, we could get the other brothers to come in another tomorrow or whenever the spirit jump. But hopefully, Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. We like to give our praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Shalom.
Shalom.